Sorry, we've gone a little bit...
Look, there's dogs in the studio. We've got very excited.
Very excited.
Very excited. Now, having been diagnosed with autism at the age of 5, the years that followed for Peter Wilson and his family have been challenging both mentally and physically.
Yes, but all that changed when Peter was matched with Coco the Cavapoo, a puppy in training at Dogs for Autism.
Well, fast forward a few months and Peter is not only thriving at school, it also meant the family can finally spend time out and about together.
Well, we're delighted to say that Peter, his assistant's dog Coco and his mum Angela join us now alongside Hilary from Dogs for Autism and our very own This Morning puppy Buddy.
Buddy's
oh,
here.
My goodness me. It's so good to see you all, and this is, I mean, what has turned out to be such a brilliant story, right? Angela, we'll start with you. Peter was diagnosed with autism when he was 5, but like we hear this a lot, don't we, that it took quite a long time for you to get that diagnosis, didn't it?
It did, yeah. It was really quite challenging. So from the age of 2, we'd kind of realised Peter wasn't sitting up on his own, he wasn't walking, wasn't talking, and we're kind of told it's developmental or he'll catch up. But it was quite clear over the years that it wasn't developmental. And we had a really good speech therapist that in the end sort of pointed out that actually there was something more to it. She referred us to a really nice paediatric. At first, they kind of went down along the lines of cerebral palsy and thought it was that, but that was then quickly ruled out. And at the age of 5, finally a diagnosis of autism for him.
It's a long time, isn't it?
It's a really long time, and that makes it so difficult for you. Eventually, Peter was diagnosed with auditory processing disorder.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So that came a few years ago. It was apparent that in the classroom he was really struggling with his learning. He wasn't able to focus on what the teachers were saying. And we ended up having to pay privately for that because that wasn't available in our area on the NHS. So that cost us £2,000 for that diagnosis. But since that, he's had hearing aids, microphones that aid him in school, and he's able to focus now, and his learning's coming on immensely. He's doing so well.
That's
He's
great.
so proud of how far he's come.
So brilliant to hear. So brilliant to hear. When Peter was a lot younger, what was, you know, day-to-day life like? What was it like going out in public and doing sort of, I suppose, quite mundane, normal activities?
It wasn't very nice at all. I mean, one experience will come to mind when we took him into the city centre one day, and it was too much. The noise, the smells, the lights, it was really crowded, and he did have a bit of a tantrum on the floor and just decided he wasn't going to move. And I had an elderly couple stand there and just say, why would you bring your child to town if he's so naughty? And that
lose
kind
your
of
faith in, you know, in people, don't you?
It kind of just took me back a little bit, you know, that people saw him as a naughty child and not as a child that just couldn't cope in that situation. So it was a challenge, early life, you know. We tended not to go into busy public places.
Because of other people, which is you know, which is horrible. Completely.
Absolutely. And you saw the charity Dogs for Autism. You saw it originally, was it on Facebook?
It was, through a group that I'm part of, a support group. A parent had posted that their child had got a Dogs for Autism dog, and I hunted them down on Facebook and through websites, and we applied to have a dog for Peter.
And that's where lovely Coco comes in.
Coco, look at Coco.
Peter, Coco has changed your life.
Yes.
Completely changed your life.
Yeah.
And I suppose, Peter, for you, but also for the family too, right, Angela?
Yeah, absolutely.
What does it mean to you to have that support?
It means that we can go out as a family, we can go and have long social events, we can go on holiday, we're not worried about Peter's reactions, because as long as he's got her, he's so grounded. I mean, you can see just sat here now, you know, a couple of years ago this wouldn't have been possible at all. She just grounds him, absolutely.
You can feel that, can't you? You really, really can.
Peter, how does Coco help you?
So Coco helps me to like calm down. You know, like, if I'm like a bit upset, I could just like have her on my lap. And like so I could like cuddle with her or something.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And he comes with you to school 3 days a week?
Yes, few days.
Great. That's great that you can find that sort of, like, that calm.
Comfort. Yeah, absolutely that.
That's really great.
And you recently gave a talk at your school?
Yes, it was like September last year. It was in my English class, and it was like so I was supposed to do like a type of talk to do with like something, like any subject, and I decided to do a PowerPoint about where Coco was like pretty much from, you know, like, from Dogs for Autism charity. So
Brilliant.
Would you say it's safe to say that Coco being in your life has completely changed your life?
yeah, it has, because before, like, I barely spoke in class. You know, I barely answered any questions.
Wow.
Then when Coco was like with me at that point, I changed.
Changed everything. Well, to the point that you're sat here on
live
national
television.
television, live. You know, this isn't. I mean, for you, this just is.
We couldn't be prouder as a family.
I bet.
Honestly, he's just beaming, and it's changed us immensely.
Hilary, this is you're kind of no stranger to seeing the effects of support dogs and how brilliantly they work. Tell us a little bit about what you do and what this really means.
Well, we train assistance dogs for people with autism where we feel it can make a big difference in their lives. You know, the training and the maintenance of every dog costs around £25,000, and we don't charge for our dogs. So, you know, it's a really big commitment in many, many ways. So we can't train many dogs, because obviously we have to raise those funds. So the dogs that we do train, we try and identify families and partners where we can make that real difference. Now, I remember with my colleague Jan, who's here with us today, meeting Peter and his family a number of years ago now. Peter wasn't able to speak to us, he wasn't able to make eye contact, he found it difficult to engage with what was going on. However, we saw these little glimmers when he was with the dog that we took. Very quietly, we just saw we really could make a difference here. But having said that, I had no idea that Peter would have the grit and the determination to get to a point where he's taking Coco into a mainstream secondary school. I mean, the hours of training work that he's done with his dog and with his professional trainer to get to that point is immense. And they're really sort of flying the flag for other young people to show what's possible. It's not easy, but we're so proud of him.
Well, it's such a lovely story to
Really
hear.
is.
Credit to you and the work that you and your team do. Brilliant stuff. And, of course, to Coco. I mean, it's just incredible and so lovely to hear how much, you know, your life has improved. What will happen to our Buddy? Will Buddy go to someone like Peter?
Well, Buddy will go to someone who has autism. And when he gets to the point, maybe in another 12 months, where we can really start to see what his particular qualities are, and we look at the people who are waiting for dogs, we'll be able to match him with the appropriate person. And then all the work that Peter's done with his trainers, who really deserve a mention, Philippa Joberg and Carrie Struthers, who've done an incredible job with this little dog. A trainer will work with Buddy and the partner, and off they will go.
It's so incredible.
And find their independence. That's what it's all about.
It really is.
It's the bridge to independence.
How well that works. So thank you.
I love it. I just love having dogs in the studio. It's so fantastic.
Thank you. Well done.
It's so good. We all want to lie on the floor every now and again. Just gonna lie down with Buddy and do this thing.
I'll do this.
Go on.
Coming up after the break, Joel's mum is here. She'll be sharing her tips and tricks to add colour to your garden this September.
Plus, we're taking a look back at Sister Act the musical when they wowed us with a very special performance. We'll be back very soon.
Oh.